What this implies is that they are considering re-enabling the thermal optics after they fix cold-blooded. Because right now, there is a perk in this game, and among the things it is supposed to do for you is keep you off of thermal optics. So in Warzone 1, this worked. If you had cold-blooded and someone was looking at you with a thermal, you wouldn't be highlighted. More importantly, if you had cold-blooded and you threw down a smoke and someone was looking into the smoke with a thermal optic, they wouldn't see you at all. Whereas if you did not have cold-blooded, they would see your outline very clearly through the smoke. For ad-free episodes, as well as early access and bonus episodes, check out our Patreon. Activision devs do not play their own game.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Because Infinity Ward doesn't tell their consumers anything.
Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House.
You can cope about that, for sure.
Thanks for tweeting, at least. Thanks for doing more than Infinity Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles in the store.
Things that are bad. We've got a couple words. Why don't you pick it off, Tanner?
This is going to be a longer section than the first part you guys heard.
Change it, obviously, of course. We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 329. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, I am joined by young Tanner.
Hey.
What are you sipping on there, buddy? That's a cute little cup. Cute little mug you got there.
Standard mug I've been using for 2 years now, yeah.
It doesn't look standard. Looks like something in an honors pottery class.
It's standard for me. This is what I use every day, yeah.
Interesting.
It's a nice cup. Nice little
What's in it?
Le Creuset. How do you say that brand? Le Creuset? Le Creuse? La Crue?
Don't do that again, obviously. What's in the goddamn cup? Don't make me ask again, man.
Warm milk and coffee.
Okay.
Boiled, spoiled milk, man.
That story disgusted me. As
like
do you.
Spoiled milk latte. I'll tell you what, brother.
Ugh, God, that's so gross.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
You should try it sometime.
Spoiled milk is one of the worst things you can put in your body. It is not in your mouth specifically. Probably anywhere else too, but it's not great.
Doesn't smell good. Doesn't taste good. Doesn't have good texture. None of it. None of it's good. Yeah.
It is really not great. Yeah. Item. So anyway, stay away from spoiled milk and welcome to the show. So today, we have an episode for sure that we're recording. Not too much to talk about, really. There's really one big thing that's happened in terms of changes to the game, which I do want to talk about quite a bit, and we're going to, because there's not really anything else to talk about. Not much has really happened this week. This is not a surprise to those of you who have been with us or with COD in general for a while. After all, we're getting Season 4, in Infinity Ward soon, meaning inside of a month. That's soon enough to where they're just not going to do anything until Season 4 comes out. This is not Raven, where they make multiple weapon balance changes every week. This is Infinity Ward, where they say they meet in their little fucking room. I don't know if they go to work. I don't know. Yeah, maybe the entire development studio is a PSYOP. That's possible.
Yeah,
but
it could be.
They get on a Skype Microsoft Teams meeting call, and they say, all right, hey guys, so we have a couple of glaring weapon balance issues. The Cronin Squall is killing 500 milliseconds faster than every other weapon in the game. We should probably balance that. And then the Joe Apricot walks in late, and he says, oh, yeah, that's interesting. So we need to maybe balance that a little bit. Okay, well, let's just fold it into our next update. When's our next update? Oh, boss, it's actually in 3 months. That's fine.
Perfect.
Just wait till then.
Yeah, perfect.
That's perfectly fine. Keep working on those bundles. Make sure that when we have an operator bundle that is new, that is the first thing that shows up on everyone's screen. That's the priority here. And once you've figured that out, start making another operator bundle, rinse and repeat. And then like 2 days before Season 4, we can begin to talk about what we want to do for weapon balance. Now, will that give us enough time to think of sober, meaningful, well thought out balance changes for guns? No. Here's what we'll probably do, team. We're going to take the Cronin Squall and we're just going to lower its damage by 50%, and that's all. That's the extent of our balance. But we can cross that bridge when we get there. All right, good talk. Disconnects. That's what's going to happen. So, unsurprisingly, pretty slow week. I would expect next week and the following week maybe to be pretty slow. But luckily, I do suspect we will get a little roadmap or blog post or something to that effect about a week before the actual season 4 patch comes out.
Yeah, week of the 5th,
and then
probably. Yeah, June 5th.
Yeah, something like that. And then before season 4, we will likely get the patch notes before release as well. And those are two things that they've been doing lately that I do appreciate. So at least we'll get that. Will it be chock full of lies and misdirections? Yes, of course. And omissions too. Yes. They will omit the most important things and tell us all about how they have buffed the select fire on the STB 556 in Warzone on only AI armor plates, not on regular armor plates.
Yeah.
That's going to be really important for us to know. But they're also going to drastically increase the damage per mag of the Seiken on enemy players and not mention it. They're just going to not mention it.
Yeah.
And then someone's going to, Exclusive Ace or J-God's going to figure it out in a week, do a YouTube video, and then Infinity Ward in the next week at Season 4 Reloaded is going to say, oh, by the way, we buffed the Seiken's damage per mag, and it's going to match exactly what J-God or Exclusive Ace already told us, but Infinity Ward is going to pretend like they had just done the patch with Season 4 Reloaded and will not mention that, hey, by the way, it's been like this for a month. So that's what you guys can expect from Infinity Ward. Just here to tell you.
The real reason we actually don't get weapon balancing, though, is since they match it with multiplayer now, which they weren't doing at the end of Warzone at all.
Yeah,
that's why it's like
part of it.
I'm sure Raven wants to do all this weapon balancing, but they just can't because they have nothing to do with the multiplayer. So Infinity Ward has like control of how shit gets balanced. So what are they going to do when they nerf the Squall? It's going to be all like armor damage mostly. They're going to add like those minimum, maximum armor damage value changes shit and like nothing else probably.
I think they'll do more than that. I think they're going to fucking ruin that gun, which is a real shame, but I don't trust them not to. Because here's the problem. The Squall needs a big nerf. It needs a pretty big nerf. But they don't need to go overboard, you know? And I think they will. I don't think they can make a big nerf that doesn't ruin the gun. If it needed a small nerf, maybe they could do that without ruining it. But since it needs a big nerf, they're going to give it a huge nerf, and then it's going to be ruined. But we'll see. And anyway, we'll get into that when we do. So before we start here, a couple small announcements. First of all, most importantly, we got quite a few new patrons, which is both fun and exciting. And by the way, good for you guys, because we've released some banger Patreon eps recently, which we'll get into in a second. Welcome to our new gold patrons, Mark M, Nick, Tyler P, and Jason. The whitest, most standard names ever. I would think we got botted if the money was not, in fact, paid. So maybe we did get botted by a corporation that's actually going to spend money. But these are basic names, which I'll take. That's fine. In fact, I prefer a basic name to some of the crazy fucking names your guys' parents have named you cruelly, I might add. So unlike those people, Mark, Nick, Tyler, and Jason, welcome, boys, to the gold tier of our Patreon. Very much appreciate it. Better people than you also have become platinum patrons. Dustin signing up at the platinum tier, and Marty upgrading from gold to platinum. He really wanted that extra content, and we respect and appreciate that. So welcome, Marty and Dustin. Very much appreciated, boys. And last but not least, a new annual gold patron getting that little discount, David. Woo! Fuck yeah, David. Just basic names, man.
Yeah, every single
like
one
it.
of them. Basic name.
I
Mark,
like it.
Nick, Tyler, Jason, Dustin. Marty's like the weirdest one. Like the most uncommon name. And then Dave. Good old Dave. Wow.
Yeah. It sounds like the new
we got
pledges
botted.
to like Sigma Kappa Chi.
Yeah.
That's what this sounds like. A
There'd
list
be
of
like
new
a Chad
pledges.
in there and like a Chet or something though too.
Yeah.
If that were the case, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're maybe missing some Chads and Brads and Thads.
Brad, yeah.
Anyway, David, thank you very much as well. Thanks to all of you. Patreon.com/thedropshot. 5 bonus episodes a month. You also get ad-free episodes of all of our episodes, as well as early access to those episodes and some more little fucking treats. So if you want to support the show, get extra content, stop listening to ads, etc., patreon.com/thedropshot. Speaking of the Patreon, this morning, a brand new gold tier and above Patreon episode hit the wire, hit the internets, and it was about Ranked Warzone. It was a nice little mishmash of a brainstorm and kind of a first impressions on us replicating what the top 250 players are doing to be successful episode. And I thought it went really well. It was also a very long episode. It was like 2 hours long. We went into a lot of detail on, basically started with like, because I was not doing a lot of the things we talked about in our last episode on Saturday. I wasn't using a Cronin Squall in semi-auto. I wasn't using a Holotherm, which doesn't matter now. We'll get into that. I wasn't killing people, but now I was. I wasn't using overkill, like a lot of things that we hadn't been doing, that we since changed to doing. Took our own advice and then talked about it. And I think that had a lot of utility because we're far closer to average than we are to top 250 caliber players. We're better than average, but we're not. I mean, yeah, we're not close to top 250. So it was interesting, I think, to give a perspective on how well does a closer to average player fare with those loadouts being used in Ranked Warzone. And then we did a little at the end, kind of like brainstorm thing. I thought it was quite productive and interesting, and I really enjoyed it a lot. And that's why it was such a long episode. So that is available to all of our patrons. And if you become a patron, by the way, you instantly get every episode we've ever done for your tier. So we don't like lock these once they're gone. So if you want to listen, you can. Patreon.com/thedropshot. But that is now live. So if you are a patron already, you can go check that out. What were your thoughts on that little app?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty big app. It was right before or right after they banned the thermals too, pretty much too. So it was kind of good timing because that probably would have been a large portion of what we would have talked about if they had banned it, right after we recorded that. So that would have sucked. So luckily we didn't spend too much time talking about that since all the thermals were banned, because that would have been a big topic on there. But yeah, talk more about the ammo types. Some things we were changing up. I was trying Semtex yesterday over drill charges, and a lot of the things that we'd mentioned on Saturday, like filling your backpack with your smokes or your Semtexes or your drill charge, hitting munitions boxes, hitting ammo caches to stock up on those things like that. Raz dying because he didn't buy a durable gas mask, etc. So yeah, there was a lot. It was good. Yeah, I thought it was super productive. And there were definitely brainstorm elements even when we were talking about replicating what those top 250 players are doing, or our attempt to, for sure, such as what should you buy, like end game? Is it worth buying a UAV, for example? Like, we got really into the weeds on that. I thought it was really productive. So if you play Ranked Warzone, or if you play pubs, because pretty much everything we talked about applies to pubs as well, and we even kind of explicitly mentioned the differences when they came up, that I think will give you guys some useful info, or at least will be interesting to you. So
Anyway, yeah, check that out. It's now live. This Saturday, also, I mentioned this on Patreon as well. We are doing a pretty unique type of episode for us. It's not completely divorced from things we've done before, but basically, because, and you're going to see why, I mean, nothing changed with the game. So we are going to conglomerate a lot of news of the week and do a bit of an opinion piece on it. So if you think of us as like the New York Times, for example, which is a newspaper, for those of you who don't know how to read, or know anything really, they have articles and they're like factual. I mean, and take that with a grain of salt, but the idea is that they're factual, right? And then they also have the op-eds, which is like the opinion pieces. So Tom, Dick, and Harry can write, their articles on like, oh, I went to Skid Row and here's what it looked like, and then they write an article, and that's like the fact thing. That's like a Thursday.
Doesn't look great, yeah.
And it doesn't look great would be the article, yeah. That's really, that would be all they have to say. But then on Saturday, they're going to be doing the op-ed, where they're like, here's what Skid Row should do to get better. That's an op-ed. That would be in a different section. That's what we're going to basically do this week.
Firebomb.
So Thursday, right now, we're doing the regular asked article where we just give you guys facts. We're going to give you our opinions anyway during it. So let's be clear. The analogy doesn't. It's not a one-to-one analogy. It's almost
entirely opinion, actually. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's like it would be 99%.
But yeah, then it's going to be opinion. Yeah. But on Saturday, it's going to be 100%. Well, actually, it's going to be the same, actually. It's just going to be on different things. So we've just written some basically we've just written some things down that have been happening this week and have been very incendiary on the TL. And we're going to give our take on it. So we're going to talk about the ranked drama. I'm sure many of you have heard of... are we going to talk... Should we just not talk about that today at all, Tanner?
What?
The ranked shit.
Didn't we already talk about that anyways on like Saturday or something?
No, we didn't.
Pretty sure we did. Didn't we? Because you were talking about it somewhere. What episode was that on?
In Discord. Then? In Discord and our last Patreon episode, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about it. It's getting old news now, but we'll talk about it still on Saturday.
Did we talk about it on Saturday?
I don't know. When did it all happen?
Yeah, we didn't. No, I'm pretty sure we didn't. But anyways, the point is, we're going to talk about that more
no, I guess
on Saturday.
Not. Yeah, it happened on Sunday morning. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're also going to talk a bit about all of the drama surrounding Activision suddenly fucking sending out cease and desists to everyone. SM2, X Labs. I think we've already mentioned one of those two, but they did it to another one as well. Plutonium's probably coming up next, so we're going to talk about that. And then how dogshit the Apex ranked system is, where their rank distribution is very weird and they're incentivizing very weird shit.
They're like more masters, which is like the second highest rank than like any other rank or something right now. It doesn't make any sense. It'd be like
literally true.
It would be like if Warzone ranked right now, the majority of players were iridescent. That's what it would be.
Yes. Yeah, which is insane.
And a lot of people have stopped playing ranked Apex, it seems, right now, because they're waiting for them to change it or fix it. Obviously, they're going to do something by the next season, but yeah, it kind of seems like it killed this season of ranked Apex.
Yes. So, and then we're probably going to talk about a couple other things beyond that as well as the week progresses. But the idea here is all of these things are very loosely related to Call of Duty. Some less loosely than others, obviously, but it's still, I think, relevant to the project of this podcast. And I'm really excited to do the episode. I'm very curious what you guys are going to think about it. So be here Saturday. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have fun either way because I'm excited to talk about all that shit. Whether you guys like it or not, Hopefully you do. I'm curious to see what the feedback's going to be on that. But that is on the absolute fucking menu for Saturday. So be here for that.
Little docket,
episode.
yeah.
On that tiny little docket. So anyway, with that said, if you're listening for the jingle, here it is. Fuck.
I've been ready to push it because I have to pee so bad.
You're gonna piss out of your little pants. Little piss boy. Boys and girls, welcome. Episode 329. Patches, changes already in effect is our first section here. So first off, we've got, some patches to talk about. Not very much this week, unsurprisingly, as we mentioned. There was one patch this week, and it was on Wednesday, May 24th, with a couple little changes here. So I'm going to look through these. I fixed tracking for Cronin Squall Mastery challenges, a couple other kind of miscellaneous bug fixes here. Fixed an issue where rank play wins were not tracking correctly on gun screens. Hold on one second. Let's see here. Sorry, I had to write something down. Yeah, so a lot of kind of dog shit bug fixes that don't really matter. Quite a few for multiplayer as well. Warzone 2.0 recently updated, mitigated a known disconnect issue in DMZ, addressed frequency of BR final circles over water. So yeah, they said they did this yesterday. That does seem to be the case. We played for like 3 hours. Was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, and there were like no water endings at all. So they did seem to address that.
They fixed this
correctly.
I think they just now put this in the patch notes. They had already fixed this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, either way, yesterday there were no water endings. Yeah, that's probably why it says recently updated. Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Classic Infinity Ward. So that's good though. I'm pleased to see that. And then the next thing here is kind of the big news of the week in terms of changes. Battle Royale ranked play. Match rule set adjustments. Specific thermal optics are no longer allowed in ranked play. It's all of them, by the way. I think there might be a couple thermals that they're still going to allow. Because I feel like there are more thermal optics than they've listed here. But I'm going to read them. SZ Holotherm, VX350 Thermal, Teplo Op 3, Thermo Optic X9, Teplo Clear Shot, and Drexum Prime 90. These are now disallowed in Ranked Warzone. These will appear unrestricted in custom loadout menus until a future update will be restricted in game and show as restricted in loadouts once you're in the match. And then they wrote a little blurb about this. The Warzone ranked play teams observed that these attachments, not countered by the cold-blooded perk, have too significant an impact on competitive play, especially late game, and have restricted them while we investigate further. Okay, so this is pretty interesting because what this implies is that they are considering re-enabling the thermal optics after they fix cold-blooded. Because right now, there is a perk in this game called cold-blooded, and among the things it is supposed to do for you is keep you off of thermal optics. So in Warzone 1, this worked. If you had cold-blooded and someone was looking at you with a thermal, you wouldn't be highlighted. More importantly, if you had cold-blooded and you threw down a smoke and someone was looking into the smoke with a thermal optic, they wouldn't see you at all. Whereas if you did not have cold-blooded, they would see your outline very clearly through the smoke. And one thing that many people want, everyone should want this, is for cold-blooded to actually work so that you can opt to run it, and then you'll be off thermals, and you'll be able to run through smokes without fear of getting killed. Because right now, smoke grenades are not helpful against probably like 60% of the people who are going to be shooting you. They're still going to be good because not everyone is going to be running a holotherm necessarily. Not everyone has their loadout guns yet. Or maybe the guy's out of AR ammo, he only has his SMG, which doesn't have a thermal optic on it. So smoke grenades were still, before this change, somewhat useful, but far less useful than they frankly should be, because even if you did have cold-blooded, you were still seen through the thermal optics. But again, this little blurb here implies that they want to make it so that cold-blooded keeps you off a thermal, and then they'll add thermals back into the game, so you can either have, and cold-blooded I believe is a bonus perk.
Yeah.
So you can either have fast hands resupply or cold-blooded.
Which is not good balancing at all. Cold-blooded is so much worse.
Yeah.
Which means
because you'd really only be using it
even if
to
they
run through
fix
smokes.
Yeah, even if they fix cold-blooded, if they ended up adding thermals back in, we'd be right back to where we are, because almost nobody would be taking cold-blooded over resupply or
OP
fast
Marked
hands.
would be. He was talking about that in his stream. I feel like some people actually would. If you're willing to sacrifice fast hands
it's so
for
specific,
resupply,
though, just for like a one scenario perk, you know?
I mean it is, but everyone uses smokes and everyone uses thermals.
I think they would have to put it in the basic perk category to get anyone to use it. Then I think you'd start seeing people switch off like overkill maybe to run that or something if they added thermals back in.
I would be open to that for sure, especially because there's like, it does seem more like a basic perk power level for sure than
Absolutely.
a bonus perk power level.
Yeah.
The only reason you could maybe argue its power level is bonus perk is because of the smoke meta, and the thermal meta, you know? So yeah, but the thing is though, there are top 250 players, really good players, who are willing to drop fast hands for resupply. And I think that camp of players might be willing to drop fast hands for cold-blooded as well. So I think this would be better, obviously, than what we had before, which was thermals allowed and cold-blooded doesn't work. That's dumb. So this solution would be better if they end up doing it, but they haven't like confirmed that they're going to re-enable thermals ever. And I don't even know if they can fix cold-blooded. I don't know if they're developers. So pretty weird. Again, I just think smokes should block thermals. Honestly, I think that would be the ideal.
I mean, the thing is, I don't think
solution.
anyone wants. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants thermals back in. Actually, like everyone would be fine with them just never putting them back in.
I suspect that's probably true.
So hopefully that's just what they do, because they're not going to swap categories for cold-blooded, because it's Infinity Ward's game, and nothing substantial would happen like that until Infinity Ward has like nothing to do with Warzone anymore, like in Warzone 1, when they have their like 1 year and then they're done. That's when like Raven could start making changes, like changing around the perk categories and stuff, but they're not going to do that. Well, Infinity Ward is still in control since it lines up with their multiplayer game. So that won't happen. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So I think these will just be banned for a while, maybe forever. And yeah, no one will end up caring.
I think it's probably the easiest solution. Yeah. That's the thing too, because like you've said before, also, the thermal optics in this game fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I wonder if they're
shit. The sight pictures are shit. The zoom levels are awkward.
They have bad ADS times. I wonder if there are maybe there's like thermal sniper scopes they did not restrict.
That's what I was thinking when I said that.
Because there are a lot of dog shit scopes in this game. There has to be more than 6 scopes here. Yeah, there has to be thermals.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, there are probably some sniper ones that didn't get touched.
Which I think is fine, by the way. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
No one's sniping anyway.
Use your 12 times thermal scope with your MCPR with 400 bullet velocity. Yeah, try to hit someone with that. That's fine.
Yeah, good luck finding another attachment slot to put that on. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah. So regardless, thermals are now banned from ranked for now. So, and I think that's probably a good thing because it makes smokes like, you know, usable. It's annoying having to wonder if you can rotate through the smoke or not.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it's good now. It's like, okay, if I have a smoke, I'm good. Anyways, kill streaks restricted, cluster mines and bomb drones. I feel like we already talked about that.
Yeah, I think that's also something.
They're just retroactively talking about it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then they also restricted global text chat, which is a real shame. But anyway.
That one's good. Yeah, they had restricted prox chat as well. And then we played the next day and we were like, oh, so it's not restricted. They just didn't. But I didn't realize after they restricted it, like an hour or two later, they're like, never mind. It's enabled because we're trying to sort out some issues with it, essentially, while we investigate an issue. So there is still prox chat. I think prox chat can stay. Text chat, that did need to go. Because, yeah, you could, like, say, oh, Shifty's in our lobby. He's right here. Everyone try to kill him and grief him. That shouldn't belong. So I am glad they took that out quickly. Prox chat, though, if you're a shitter and you're using prox chat and you can't figure out how to not use prox chat with your teammates, I don't know. You deserve to die.
You're never going to be a high enough rating.
I mean, you're hard stuck bronze. You're not getting out of the starting rank. Yeah.
If you're the type of player who still has prox chat on and it's giving away your position, you were never good enough to be hard stuck by that factor anyway. You're hard stuck for a bunch of other reasons. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I just muted prox chat though. It's so fucking annoying. It's so loud when people have it. Like when we were at Fortress. Down. Yeah, but then I would have to. Actually, yeah, you're right. I should do that. It's its own
slider. Yeah, mine's at like literally 5.
Yeah, I need to do. Maybe I'll do that instead. Okay, that's probably a better idea.
Yeah, I like hearing them because you can always kind of tell if they're going to be good or not. Usually with prox chat, they're not, but you could tell if they're going to be bad or it's definitely an advantage. Dog shit. Yeah, really dog
for
shit.
Sure.
Like, oh, these guys are lost, so let's go push them. I also had a fun bug when we were playing with Jake where I went to the gulag. So a team folded me. I went to the gulag, and I was still hearing comms, and I thought I was in the gulag. I come back. I'm spectating Jake while he gets money to buy Raz and I back. I'm listening to their comms the whole time, the other team's comm. Jake buys me back. I hit the ground. I'm hearing their comms like I'm in their squad. Everything they say. I don't even know if they were close to us at that point at all. They could have been hundreds of meters away. But I was hearing their comms for the rest of the game, so that was super cool. So I didn't end up muting at that point because I was like, okay, these guys aren't even close to us, I don't think. I don't want to hear their every fucking word. So that was a fun little exciting bug I had. Super cool.
Yeah. Super cool, fun, and exciting. Yeah, I remember this specifically, yeah. And there are some other bugs in Ranked Warzone. We'll get into that in the hidden patch notes section. But next in the actual patch notes they told us about, updated final placement SR skill rating. We're increasing the SR earned for early placement milestones to streamline the distribution of SR players receive throughout the match. The values are as follows. Top 40, you now get 10 SR. Top 30, you get 20 SR. Top 20, you get 30 SR. Top 10, you get 40. Top 5, you get 50. And then I think on top of that, is there also a top 3?
Yeah, they just didn't change those.
Correct. Okay, yeah. So then beyond top 5, there's another one at top 3 and another one at first place. This is really good and way better. And this is what Tanner and I talked about, I think, recently on Patreon, actually, which is it was very weird that you would get the same number of SR for getting like 39th place or like 11th place or something.
Yeah, it was something weird. It was like Or maybe it was just
there
getting
was no top
getting
10
10th.
threshold, I don't think.
No,
Maybe.
I think there
I don't
was. Yeah, I don't remember what it was exactly we were talking about. I don't remember, but yeah, because there is a sort of top 10, because these went from like top 40 went from 5 to 10. The next one went from like 10 SR to 20, then like 20 to 30, 30 to 40. So I think there was, maybe it was like a difference of 4th place and 10th place. You got the same SR. I think that's what it was, maybe.
Whatever it was dog shit. I don't remember what it was, but this is a lot better now, because there really should be a difference between top 20, top 10, top 5, top 3, first place. Those make a lot more sense to me. And this is still not so much SR that you can get top 5 and get 2 kills and be top 250. So this still requires you to be playing quite aggressively and getting a lot of kills to be in the top 250 or even like the iridescent kind of echelon, which I think is good, as I've talked about a lot. But also, for everyone else, there should be a decent amount more placement SR, and there should be a meaningful difference between like top 10, top 5, top 3 in particular.
Yeah.
I think as you get closer to first place, there need to be more steps, which there now are. So that's a really good change. And I really like that. And here's what they say about it as well. This adjustment will help placement milestone SR feel more rewarding throughout the match without diminishing the personal and team play required to earn the highest amount of SR earned from top placements. Learn how to write once. Please note placement milestones not listed above remain unchanged. Yeah, so good change there. Solid play there. Here are some bug fixes, they say. Fixed an issue that prevented players from utilizing weapon tuning in the Warzone ranked play loadout menus. If that's true, that's good, because that was annoying having to go out. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Let's see.
I think that's it.
Fixed an issue where portions of the post-match flow could play out of order. What the fuck does that mean?
I think it's like when it shows like how much SR you gained, what battle pass level you hit. I guess that was out of order. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
They
probably the important things. Yes.
Yeah, they probably added a couple extra instances where Black Cell pops up getting you to buy it. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's anyway. And then a couple DMZ bug fixes. So yeah. Overall, not a huge patch, but as far as ranked is concerned, that's pretty big. The biggest thing, of course, being the restrictions of thermal optics. Tanner and I talked about this in our last Patreon episode that I was talking about earlier. And there was a bit of a discussion on what's going to be the meta optic now. And the answer to that is probably just the AIMOP V4. However, Tanner did note that he was watching someone using a Schlager, which is, I think, the most similar to like a VLK of 2019, on the semi-auto Cronin Squall. And the guy he was watching was able to get a like 150 meter kill that he wouldn't have gotten without that optic, which is interesting because if you are in a semi-auto meta, that does make a higher zoom optic more attractive, especially with damage ranges and values and multipliers like a Cronin Squall. So you might start seeing some more zoom optics like that, but I would imagine for most people it's just going to be back to the AIMOP V4 optic.
Yeah, I mean, he was just using that because the semi-auto Squall. No one's using that, I don't think, for like a full auto gun.
Correct,
They're
for
just
sure.
using it for the semi-auto meta. And this also, the thermal change, the thermal restriction in ranked really does show that they can do what they want in ranked without Infinity Ward until it comes to the balancing changes, which I feel like we kind of overlooked because we had talked about that a lot. Like, oh, they, maybe they'll make changes quickly to ranked because there's a lot more on the line, and the big streamers will be complaining about it. But the thing we didn't realize is any like weapon balancing that needs to happen has to go through Infinity Ward, basically, since it goes through multiplayer, core. Otherwise, if Treyarch and Raven were doing this on their own, the Cronin single fire would have been nerfed last week. Or like
for sure
this week, I mean, right when they did this thermal shit. But since they have to wait till Infinity Ward, honestly, I don't think we see the Cronin nerfed until Season 4. I would be shocked if it comes before that, which, I mean, that's like almost 3 weeks away still, but they don't do weapon balancing between seasons usually. We just haven't been getting that in Warzone 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, and like you pointed out before,
just held back by Infinity Ward, of course.
Yeah, the problem is that they've tied these values to multiplayer. Yep. They're not willing to just have separate, like, you know, stats, which is dumb, obviously. And that's why there is such a thing as minimum and maximum armor damage. That is their attempt to have some dimension on which they can balance a gun for Warzone that won't affect their multiplayer ecosystem, which is like a cute little idea, I guess, but it's not sufficient.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the way to balance a weapon is not to change how much damage it can do. Like sometimes it's to change the recoil or damage ranges, or headshot multipliers or something. And in that case, if you're tying it to multiplayer, you're really hamstringing yourself, which we are seeing. Yeah. So yeah, I would expect it to be gross until season 4. Yeah. For sure.
So anyway, that's a long time away to be
which is a long time away.
Overpowered gun and ranked. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on to hidden patch notes, courtesy of me. We were playing ranked yesterday, and the SR gains are still kind of wonky. I'm pretty sure placement SR always works as intended, at least in our experience, but the kills and assists shit does not. There was one game where Jake purposefully baited Tanner and I and allowed us to die because he's a shitty teammate. And so we were spectating him, and he got like 3-5 more kills. I don't know about 5, but he got a couple more kills that game. And then the game ended. And then Tanner was like, hey, how much SR did you gain that game? Because I gained 1, literally. And I was like, that's weird. Well, I didn't gain much either. It was like, I don't know, 2. And then he said, wait, what the fuck? I got like 2 points for kills and assists, even though Jake got 10 kills.
Yeah.
So on that value...
Kills by teammates, yeah.
Kills by teammates, right, yeah. I should have gotten at least 10 extra points, but I didn't. And then I looked at mine, and mine likewise fucked up in this way. Kills Jake was getting while I was dead were not giving me any SR, even though they were kills by teammates.
Yep.
Now, I guess it's possible that that is intended, but I'm 95% sure that is not intended.
That was not the way it was working, I don't think. I don't think that's the way it's worked before. Because I remember I swear you'd be spectating your teammates while you're dead, and when they get a kill, I would see kills by teammates. Why would you have to be alive if it's just called kills by teammates?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that's the way it was working.
The more I think about it, maybe it is intended, actually. Maybe you have to be alive for it to count. Which would make some sense, actually. Maybe that is intentional and we just never noticed. They changed it? Did they say that? Absolute?
I don't remember them saying they changed anything. Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
give me a source on that.
Because actually, we've like never really been dead in Warzone. Like that sounds dumb, but in ranked, we really usually aren't dead. So I guess that almost was
team wipes.
That was actually like the first time I guess that we were spectating a teammate for like more than 10 seconds before they buy us back. So yeah, maybe. I guess that's just the first time we could have noticed it because we're always together and alive and getting top 5.
That's how ranked usually plays. It's like if one of you dies, you either get bought back pretty soon or you guys just got team wiped, basically, because you hold hands all the time. So that's usually how it goes. So yeah, maybe that is intentional, actually. I don't know. We will look into that. Absolutely. If you have a source on them changing it, if they said that anywhere, I'd love to see it because I don't know how we missed it. But either way.
Yeah, and the thing they're still looking into with messed up SR, it still is not fixed. But basically, the end of the game, if you get like the final kill, the win, it is not usually granting that SR. I think it'll tell you in game you're getting plus 15, but when you actually get to the after action report, what your in game showed you got and the after action report do not line up.
Interesting.
So there are probably a lot of other things messed up as well.
Yeah. In addition, I'm sure there are still other bugs when people crash or disconnect. you're supposed to be able to leave the lobby right away and not lose any SR.
It doesn't let you leave the lobby. Yeah, you alt F4 when your teammate crashes. You load back into the game. You still lose SR. Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing that happened to us also was the entire lobby crashed. So we were in a game, we were doing pretty fucking well too. And then the lobby just disconnects. We get booted to main menu. And in that case, we definitely did not gain SR, even though we all had a positive SR amount by that time.
Yeah, we got 0.
We had surmounted our deployment fee. I don't know if we lost SR though.
We didn't.
I don't know if we lost the deployment fee. We did not.
I mean, yeah, no, we didn't. We didn't move SR at all.
Okay, yeah. So that's dumb too, by the way. If you're gonna track how much SR I've gained or lost mid-match, which is a good feature, and I'm glad it's there. If you fuck up your server and the lobby crashes when I was at plus 150 because I'm on a burner, I should be rewarded those 150 points. By the way, that should work that way. Although maybe people would be incentivized to crash servers more if they did that, so maybe not. I don't know, maybe I'd have to think about that a little bit more, but that's annoying too. Servers are still crashing. They're still not the most stable I've ever seen, but yeah, there you go. So,
hold on, I'm just typing that real quick. Yeah, so Shaded Step and OP Marked and someone else who were playing, they seem to have found out that one of the black sites in Al Mazrah City, let's see which one it is. Post office? I don't know which one that is.
This is downtown, right?
Yeah, Shaded said the one in the middle of Mazrah City next to medical. I don't even know where that is. But one of the black sites they think are causing server crashes because I guess they did it, them or another team did it like 3 or 4 times yesterday during their stream. And every single time after that black site was completed, they said within like 30 to 60 seconds, the server would freeze and crash. So that's tied to it as well. So again, yeah, hey, remove the fucking AI. You can't fix the bugs with them. Get them out of the goddamn game. Get strongholds out of the game. Get black sites out of the game. Causes stuttering. It causes frame rate issues. Causes server crashing. No one, and I mean no one in the world, would rather have the AI in than out of Warzone Ranked. Figure it the fuck out. It's so, god damn it. It's so easy to figure out.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, that's another hidden patch note. Servers crashing when you're doing black sites. And, you know, a ton of dev erroring still this season. We've been lucky. We haven't had any dev erroring, but a lot of people are. A lot of people are having tons of dev errors. So that's fun and exciting. And yeah, when you're not supposed to lose SR for a lot of these crashes, people still are. And they're getting, you know, 15-minute suspensions, 30-minute suspensions when they crash a couple times in an hour. So super cool. So all the things they said were not supposed to happen in Ranked, like you weren't supposed to lose SR, you're supposed to be able to back out if your teammate crashed in pregame lobby. None of that is true. You can't do any of that. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So that's very cool. Yeah, we just did check the last set of patch notes. Absolute. It wasn't there. At least I didn't see it. You just went through all the rank shit. Let me look quickly again, but yeah, not here. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's intentional or not. Whether you not gaining.
Wait.
SR.
No. Hold on. Bug fixes in ranked play fixed an issue causing eliminated squad members to receive SR for unassisted eliminations by live squad members. Okay, so beforehand, so you were getting SR beforehand when you were dead still.
Last week we missed it. Okay.
Yeah, so you're still getting SR like 2 weeks ago if you were dead and your teammate got kills. They fixed it so now you are not. Yeah. Okay. So it was working correctly before. Yeah. Okay. Or it was working how we thought it was before, and that was not intentional. Interesting. Okay.
So now it is working as intended. Okay, so we just missed this last week.
Yeah, it was
That's
Tuesday,
why
May 16th.
We didn't notice.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you guys who didn't know, because we didn't, I guess we just missed this last week when we were talking about this. If you are dead and your teammates get kills, you will not get kills by teammates SR when that happens. By the way, I'm of the opinion that's probably how it should work, honestly. If you're just full dead, you can't have contributed anything to your teammate getting a kill. So you really shouldn't be getting SR, honestly.
If my teammate's dropping a 40 bomb, I should be rewarded if I'm dead the whole time.
Yeah, no. Because, like, there's an argument, like, if you're alive, but you didn't put any damage in the guy, you still probably helped in some capacity. Holding down his back or, I don't know, whatever, shooting someone else. So I think that's good that it works that way. Okay, well, now we know. Yeah, thank you, Absolute. Good comms, buddy. Yeah, so anyway, if you guys didn't know that or you were confused like we were, now you know. So moving on, we have a couple of tweets. I don't know if any of these are new information, Tanner. Let me look, though. This was pretty much all in the patch notes we've just gone over, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Treyarch did tweet yesterday. Reminder, Warzone ranked play competitive settings are a multi-team effort to deliver competitive and fair matches. And when they say multi-team in this context, Treyarch means Treyarch, Raven, Infinity Ward, those teams, multi-dev effort, really. Restrictions are updated based on data and feedback, and restricted items may return in an upcoming season after undergoing balance changes. So yeah, again, they're just making very clear they might bring the thermals back once they fix Cold-Blooded.
Once so Infinity Ward fixes it, if they ever do, yeah.
Yeah, who fucking knows? So we'll see.
Most perks
I mean,
work for
to
3
be
months.
fair, they did bring back heavy choppers, so which I didn't expect them to do. So
yeah,
maybe they will in fact bring it back.
They did.
Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of brain power to figure out how to balance those. Yeah, that's why we haven't got any balancing changes, because they had to figure out how to add a new gas cannon for the heavy chopper to make it work. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's so insane. Anyways, so that's it for patches, upcoming changes. The big thing there, obviously, was the removal of thermals. We might have more to say on that, but again, right now, it's like my only opinion is this is probably good. If Cold-Blooded doesn't work, you probably should just remove them until it does, and then kind of go from there. I think that's probably fine, honestly. So, good change there. Now into news and upcoming changes. So, again, we have 2 items here. We're going to talk about these more on Saturday, but we will mention them a little bit here. So, the first one is there was earlier this week some drama on the TL from Huskerrs, Unrational, and ScummN. So this was a team of 3 people, and they were on the roster for the World Series of Warzone, which has a first place prize of, what is it? 300 racks?
No. First, I think like 100,000 or something, maybe.
I want to say
too
150.
little. Too little for how they say it's a $1-point-something million tournament.
Yeah. Still a lot of money, though.
It's some scratch.
A 1 million plus total prize pool, I think, for the World Series of Warzone. And I guess the rosters are locked now. So what happened was ScummN tweeted on the TL on Twitter. He tweeted, just got kicked from my World Series of Warzone team. At Huskerrs, at Unrational. I'm praying on your downfall. Yeah. I hope you do fucking terrible. That was the tweet.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Now, I had heard the name ScummN before. It sounded familiar, but I didn't know anything about him other than that he's like a streamer or whatever. Then I saw this tweet and I said, oh, this is my favorite streamer now. So I went to his stream, and sure enough, he's playing with 2 other people, and he's like trolling his team. He lands right on a loadout that's hotly contested, which he would have known if he was spectating his other teammate before he got back, but he was just texting the whole time. So he's actually throwing, and he's in the top 250 with his teammates. So this is actually a big deal because he's just throwing and like losing them a bunch of rating. So his teammate is getting fucking furious with him. This is just a random time I come in live after I saw the tweet. I was like, oh, I gotta check this toxic motherfucker out. And he's just like throwing, laughing. His teammate's like, you guys are blacklisted. I'm actually never playing with you again. Leaves the lobby. I'm watching all this live, just dying laughing. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy is the most based fucking streamer I've ever seen. So it turns out this ScummN person, from what I've gathered thus far, is that he is extremely good at the game. and he's a bit childish.
He was a number one ranked multiplayer player for a while. I think he was the first person to hit number one, or he held it for a while. He's very good. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's also a little immature sometimes. And this is the most traction any ranked drama has gotten yet on Twitter for sure. Like everyone I follow had their piece to say about it. But anyway, they dropped him, and I guess Huskerrs then tweeted like, "Oh, this is like good luck to whatever team wants to put up with his like bad attitude or whatever." So that was really funny, and it harkens back to what I said right when Ranked came out, which is that the levels of drama, pettiness, childishness, flaming, clout sharking will reach heights we have never before seen in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Maybe outside of the CDL. But I would argue even including the CDL, BR's bigger than CDL, frankly. At least there was a time where Warzone was bigger than CDL. So this is certainly the biggest little morsel of drama we've gotten, and there will be more. And it's going to be fun and exciting.
Yeah.
So I want to talk more about this and about ranked drama in general and what that does for the game. Spoiler alert, this is good for Activision. All this shit is good publicity because people really care about the mode. They really care about the rating. They really care about World Series of Warzone especially. And when there are hurt feelings around it, there are very personal attacks get made, and then people that don't really care that much about Call of Duty are still interested.
Yeah.
Because it's just drama. Everyone kind of loves drama. And expect more things like this to happen. And God, I love it.
Yeah.
God, I love it. And it's such a nice, delicious little treat. I was going crazy funny in our Discord when this happened.
Yeah,
I gave everyone
really
all
hollering about that, huh?
I was hooting and a hollering for sure. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Did you didn't enjoy this drama quite as much as me? I don't know.
Oh, it was fine. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Did you know about this ScummN character much?
Of course, yeah.
This?
Yeah, known about him for years. Okay. He was always one of the top players in Warzone 1. They've teamed together for a while, but I guess you get to a point probably with some of these guys and you're just like, I can't fucking take this anymore. Get off my shit team. They probably haven't liked playing with the dude for like a year or something, but it probably gets to a point for them where they're like, I can't do this anymore. You're banned from our team. So he's like super upset about that. I think technically there is still a way they can join a team. Like you can't form a new team, but I think he actually tweeted that out too. Let me find that tweet. He had tweeted something about like looking for a World Series of Warzone team if you drop your third for me. And then like the top comment was like, bro, you were just complaining about this happening to you and now you want someone else to drop their third. And he was like, trendsetters, what do you want me to do or something? He's
such a god.
He plays a few too many video games. He needs to talk to people in real life a little bit more. But where did I
let's see if you can find that tweet.
It looks like he's deleted some of them.
That'll happen. How old is he?
20 probably, 19 and 21. He's a young little boy.
Yeah. So anyway, I'd be mad too, but he didn't handle it the best. And obviously there was a reason he got kicked. And obviously
he kind of proved
it wasn't a skissue. If he was rank 1 at any time ever in ranked Warzone, number 1, not top 250, top number 1, then him getting kicked from the team was not a skissue. It was not a skill issue. It's not he wasn't good enough, so they dropped him.
Yeah.
It was because of his attitude. We got asked fairly recently on a Patreon Q&A episode by someone, what is... If you're looking to become like a COD like pro or like pro Warzone gamer or pro like multiplayer CDL gamer, streamer, whatever, what should you like focus on doing? And the point I made, and it's very salient here, was that you'll immediately know if you're good enough or not because you're kind of born with it, and like you already know how good you are. Like if you're better than everyone else ever, like that's maybe you're good enough to be in CDL and all that. But beyond that, the more important thing, because basically you either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
Essentially. So you can't work on that. You can't work on having the thing that makes you just really good.
Yeah.
You're either born with it or you're not. So really, you're only talking to people who are born with it, like ScummN. And my point was, since you can't control whether you're born with it or not, if you are born with it, the most important thing for you to work on is to be a decent person that people want to play with.
Yeah.
And I talked a lot about that, actually, in that episode. And this is exactly why. This is exactly why. The guy was rank 1. It wasn't a skill issue.
Yeah, no, he's better than Unrational and Huskerrs. I mean, he's definitely better than Huskerrs. Huskerrs is a keyboard and mouse player. ScummN's not. And he's better than Unrational too. Yeah, I mean, he's easily the best of the three, without a doubt. So that goes to it's not all about having the best players on your team. It's a lot about how you mesh together as well. So
yeah, and it's about being the type of person that people want to play with. Because otherwise, if you get too crazy, shit like this will happen. You'll get dropped and won't be allowed to make another team because it's too late, because you were so hard to get along with or so annoying to play with or whatever that you lose your team. And now this guy might not play in the World Series of Warzone even though he was rank 1. How insane is that? And it's not because of a skill issue. It's because of his attitude, evidently.
Yeah. Yep.
So I just found it funny, but proving the boy right again. That's me, by the way. There are other things besides, being really good. That
even just playing video games like my whole life, you play shooters with certain people that are better than you. So many of them, I was like, I don't give a shit if you carry me. I don't want to play with you. I don't like your comms. I don't like you. I don't like how toxic you are. I don't like how angry you get and blame everyone else. Like, I don't want to play with you, period. I don't fucking care how good you are. That happens all the time with every online shooting video game. So
every online multiplayer competitive game,
all of them,
yeah, for sure. Because I've been through this many times myself as well, in like MMOs. Like people, it's like there's a notorious group of people actually. Shout out to Lukewarm Tauntauns. They were arguably like the best team in the game. They would do server transfers to do like ranked matches against other really good teams. Like they were really fucking good, but they were super fucking toxic to each other and to everyone else. And they would always be like fighting with each other. They would have to like drop someone and pick up another one.
Yeah.
And it was just real hard to play with them or against them. No one wanted to. And they had so much more turmoil than they needed to. And then, like, if they would get kicked out of the group of 4, that fourth, whoever got kicked, no one would want to play with them, even though they're like the best tank in the server. People will be like, I'm good. I'll play with a slightly worse tank that I like have fun playing with.
Exactly. Yep. And
I play with you, who's going to call me the fucking N-word if I like miss a cooldown or something.
Yeah. It's like, bro, settle down. Yeah. I think in that same Q&A episode was when I was talking about the guy that I was on some Call of Duty 4 teams with back in the day. And he was the same way. He was probably, to this day, I wish I remembered his name. He has so many different names, though. To this day, probably the most toxic person I've ever played video games with. And he would form a team, play with them, wouldn't win their matches, fucking rage quit, change his name on everything. Like, IRC, Xfire, everything that you would use to find teams and find scrims. His in-game name. Form a new team under a different name, start playing with them. Same thing. People would start leaving because he's toxic. He would get like you miss like one shot or something and he's like fucking screaming at you. Like the kid had like severe mental issues. I'm like, bro, you gotta settle down, man. Like everyone wants to win, but some people are just far more toxic about it than others. And he was good, but ended up no one would want to play with the guy because he was so fucking toxic. Yeah.
And the irony there too is that if you really, really, really want to win, like that's all you want more than anything on earth, you shouldn't get mad and start raging at people, because that's not the best way for your team to win. Like, that's an ineffective way to get people on your team to play better.
Yeah.
So, like, not only does it make people dislike you, it's also ineffective. Whereas, like, there are people who are also really good that, like, they're really frustrated and they're getting really annoyed. And maybe they're really fucking mad that you missed that shot or whatever. But if they have some self-control or some intelligence, they'll think and they'll be like, okay, we need to communicate about the issue that just happened here without being a cunt about it, and like constructively work on and communicate how we could have done this better or whatever. And then you'll get a better outcome and people won't dislike you. So it's also just like counterproductive to be that person. It doesn't work. Like if I've actually never really been the fucking huge dick, but I have been the guy on a team or whatever with the very good player who is this like stereotypical, you make one mistake and they're fucking seething and yelling and whatever. That the presence of that person makes me play actively worse. Way worse.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm fucking stressed out.
Yep.
I'm too many things going on. I'm thinking too much. There's artificial amounts of pressure piled on top of you for no reason. And then it just makes you play, in fact, worse. So it's not even ineffective. It's counterproductive to be that person.
Yep.
So anyway, I just thought it was funny, the ScummN shit, because it related exactly back to that. So the point is, on Saturday, I think we'll talk about this more, and maybe not specifically that drama, although maybe we'll talk about that again, but just ranked drama in general and what that's going to do for the game. Because again, drama's bad, I hate drama. No one thinks that. Everyone who says that is lying. Drama is interesting, obviously. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's
people
exciting.
do try to pretend they don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like dealing with
gossiping.
all the drama.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
yes,
you do.
Yeah.
Shut up, bitch.
Yeah. You're a human being, of course.
I know. You can't not. It's interesting.
Yeah. It's impossible not to. Yeah.
It's interesting watching other people argue and fight. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the more important point we're going to talk about on Saturday is generally, why is drama actually a good thing? That's going to be kind of my thesis. I think it's going to be good for pretty much every macro level aspect of Call of Duty, actually. More eyeballs from outsiders, more engagement from people already inside. The only people for whom drama is really a bad thing is the subjects of the drama. And even then, only certain parties, perhaps. But it's inevitable and it's unavoidable. There's going to be more ranked drama. Trust me. There's going to be more Warzone drama in general. There's going to be more World Series of Warzone drama. And it's going to be really good for everyone else. Like, actually everyone else. So I want to talk about that a lot, too, Saturday. So that's going to be fun. But anyway, last little point here on news and upcoming changes. Again, this is another thing we will be talking about more on Saturday. X Labs tweeted on the 22nd. Today, we have received a cease and desist letter on behalf of Activision in relation to the X Labs project. We are complying and shutting down all operations permanently. Thanks for your support. And X Labs, for those of you who don't know, is what? Because I don't know either.
I don't know.
It's
one of, I think this one's based off BO3. I don't know. I'm going to do some more research into all these and how they work going into Saturday so I can form more of an opinion. I pretty much have one opinion right now. Everyone's upset about this on the TL, acting like they care so much. These games have like 300 concurrent players worldwide, so everyone complaining about it also doesn't play it, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's virtue signaling to say Activision bad.
Yeah.
To your audience who all agrees with you anyway, so there's no point in saying it. Yeah, I suspect that's probably true, but yeah, X Labs is basically just another like third-party fan-made Call of Duty game where it's like a modded COD game or something, or it was. F's in the chat.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk about this more as well on Saturday. The people who are mad about this and who were mad about SM2 being shut down are now rightfully very worried about plutonium. This is arguably the biggest of all these little third-party COD projects.
It was the only one I had even heard of.
Exactly. Not based on any stats or anything. We'll get that info on Saturday perhaps, but based on the fact that it's the only one I had heard of before all this stuff happened. And it has not been shut down yet, but I would be amazed if Plutonium did not also get a cease and desist letter very soon. Why is Activision doing this? Good question. We will get more into that on Saturday as well, but I think there's a lot of interesting kind of meat to sink our little teeth into for Saturday on this.
And last thing I forgot, they announced World Series of Warzone. They announced a date for the tournament to resume. They had delayed it because of all the server issues. They claimed they fixed the server issues, but hey, we had a server crash yesterday. I keep seeing more and more people again say the servers are feeling laggy and shitty once again. So yeah, the server issues are probably all back, but regardless, World Series of Warzone qualifiers will be next Wednesday, May 31st, and then the North American finals are on June 7th.
Whoa.
So yeah, there we go. Those are coming back.
And that
Good luck,
and again, I am way more excited for World Series of Warzone than before the ScummN drama happened. Actually, I'm going to have noties on for his Twitter, and I'm going to be watching Huskerrs, and if they die, my phone is going to start blowing up, and ScummN's going to say my prayers were answered or something, and I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh. And just all of it is just so exciting to me, and I'm more excited, and I'm going to be more engaged. I'm going to watch more World Series of Warzone ads than I would have if there wasn't any drama about it for the World Series of Warzone. I'm thrilled, and we will be talking more about the World Series of Warzone when all of that starts to progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that is it, boys and girls. Hope you enjoyed. Pretty light week, but Saturday is going to be a very fun and exciting episode, so be here for that.
Maybe some day drinking, some seltzers for the app.
Maybe a little seltzer. Yeah, perhaps. We'll look into that. We'll see.
What the vibes are.
Regardless, Saturday at our normal time. You can check our Twitter or our Discord or our YouTube for our schedule every week on podcasts. Usually Thursdays and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Adjusted for daylight savings whenever that happens. Get fucked if you're not that. But YouTube and Discord will auto adjust the time to your time zone, including daylight savings. So those are the best places to check for when the live streams are happening, because they will always be accurate for you, even including our daylight savings dog shit, which stop doing that. World. Anyway.
Got it.
Besides that, patreon.com/thedropshot. We just released another banger 2-hour fucking bonus ep. It was really good. We have a couple other ones we've already put out this month, and we have 2 more on the schedule as well. So for all of our patrons, we got those coming up. Don't worry. And if you were thinking of joining the Patreon, you get bonus content, bonus episodes, ad-free episodes, and you get early access on the public ones as well, all without ads. So that's the best way to support the show if you wanted more content, or if you just wanted to help us out. Keep us afloat, because we are fucking treading water, dude. Patreon.com/thedropshot. Thank you all for watching and listening. Stay humble.
Stay humble.